Hey, Sanbonan. Hope everyone is doing good today. Vandaag, I'm in the forest. I'm in the wild, trying to reconnect with nature. And you'll understand why in just a minute. So the reason why I'm in the wild today is because I'd like to talk to you guys about the fact that plants can hear. Hey, hope there are no strange creatures out here or dangerous creatures. The last thing I want is to be eaten by a lion while I'm trying to give you guys a profound message. Hey, Father God, sengithembele wena for i-protection phela ngideliver lana ama-message wakho. Ayazi, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I shall do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So guys, what do I mean mangithi plants can hear? Well, the fact that life is one is probably my first thesis when it comes to understanding the nature of the universe and the overall meaning of existence. One of the most controversial claims in science circles in recent times is that plants can hear. A few studies have suggested that plants respond to sound, prompting suggestions that talking to plants can help them grow. I am often accused of using the Bible too much in arguing my points, but I continue to maintain that the book contains a lot of wisdom for daily living. Though it is an ancient book, it seems to have stood the test of time because it is still relevant today. Now, in Mark 11, verse 12 to 25, we find an account where Jesus curses fig tree, which later withered or died. Jesus understood the law of one and knew that everything is energy, and even plants can hear or even perceive various vibrational states. A team led by Monica Gagliano at the University of Western Australia in Crowley placed seeds of chili peppers into 8 petri dishes arranged in a circle around a potted sweet fennel plant. Sweet fennel releases chemicals into the air and soil that slow other plants' growth. In some setups, the fennel was enclosed in a box, blocking its chemicals from reaching the seeds. Other experiments had the box, but no fennel plant inside. In each case, the entire setup was sealed in a soundproof box to prevent outside signals from interfering. As expected, chili seeds exposed to the fennel germinated more slowly than when there was no fennel. The surprise came when the fennel was present but sealed away. Those seeds sprouted fastest of all. Gagliano and her team repeated the experiment with 2,400 chili seeds in 15 boxes and consistently got the same result, suggesting the seeds were responding to a signal of some sort. She believes this signal makes the chili seeds anticipate the arrival of chemicals that slow their growth. In preparation, they undergo a growth spurt. The box surrounding the fennel would have blocked chemical signals, and Gagliano suggests sounds may be involved. In a separate experiment, chili seeds growing next to a sealed-off chili plant also consistently grew differently to seeds growing on their own, suggesting some form of signaling between the two. Interesting experiment indeed. Try cursing your home plants for long enough and see what happens. My mom always had plants in the house, and I learned that every time there was fighting and sadness in the house, the plants would appear to be dying slowly. The process would, however, be reversed when we are happy and there is good energy in the house. So why does this information matter? Well, my point here is that all life is energy. And words, sounds, they all vibrate in a certain frequency. Because this is an established principle of life, many of us sabotage our own lives by speaking negatively to ourselves, to others, by thinking negative thoughts, and by meditating on that which we do not want. Most of this is unconscious, because I think most of us don't understand the mechanics of the universe. We don't understand that as much as seeds or plants respond to sounds, everything in existence, because all life is one, also responds to our thoughts, our words, and our overall energy as well. I mean, if plants respond to sound, then there must be some universal language that exists, that everything under the sun, everything in existence responds to. The problem with humans is that we somehow think that we are an exception to natural laws or the various mechanics of the universe. Ignorance is one of our biggest problems as the human race, because nature has a lot to teach us about, how God functions, about how we ought to live our lives in order to be successful in our various endeavors. Nature is more successful than humans, because nature is fully submitted to the laws of God, or the laws that God put in place to govern this thing we call existence. For example, if you say, I always run out of money, I never have enough, I always struggle to make ends meet, while that may be a reflection of your situation, when you repeatedly say that to yourself, you are sending a message to the universe, and that is the experience that you will always have. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging your circumstances, but if you continue to sort of affirm your negative state, or if you continue to speak that which you do not want, that is exactly what you are going to get. We have normalized negativity so much that we have internalized the mindset of lack. For instance, we came up with terms like Mampara Week. This is Mampara Week, therefore, I can't afford certain things. And as much as, again, that is reality, but the fact that we keep on saying it, it's like we've accepted it as our reality. And whatever you accept, you cannot change, and you will always be in this constant flow of lack from month to month. Someone once said, if you always do what you've always done, then you will always be where you've always been. Now, in the context of my talk today, I can rephrase that and say, if you always think like you've always thought, then you will always experience the same reality. And most of the time, that is the reality that we do not want, the reality that we're trying to get ourselves out of. But we remain stuck because we think the same way about the situation, and we speak the same way about that situation. So what we're doing there is we are creating some type of vicious cycle by our thoughts and our words, and we wonder, why do I keep on experiencing the same things over and over again? As much as it's a bitter pill to swallow, most of us have created our own reality. The circumstances that we find ourselves in, were created by our own thoughts, our own actions, our own words. Our lives will never change until we start thinking differently about how we see ourselves, how we see our situation. And the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Once you change your thoughts, slowly your words will also start changing. You'll start speaking differently about your life, about the key elements of your life. You will start speaking differently about money, about relationships, about health. I'd like to leave you with this thought. If plants can die through words and sounds, then consider what you've been doing to your own body by the words you've been speaking to yourself. Imagine what you've been doing to your life in general by the words you've been speaking to yourself. Imagine what you've been doing to your kids, to your friends, by certain words that you've been speaking to them. Words are life.